Alright gang, today we're going to make a HyperDock from scratch. And if there's a little background noise, I apologize. I'm at home on my deck and it's a little breezy, but it's just too beautiful to be inside. But I'm going to start here, so I'm going to start with my grid. However you get to that, I'm going to hit my Drive button. I'm going to be opening a new dock, so as soon as this blue button comes up, I'll say New. And Dock. Now a new dock should open, so from here, wow, just a blank slate. So let's start from scratch. Very first thing that I like to do is to name this. So I'm just going to call this my HyperDock Practice. And you are watching this in real time, so if I make a mistake, I apologize. So very first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a table. And so I'm going to build a table here. I'm going to say Insert Table. I'm going to make my table 4 by 5. We're going to do a little bit of work in this table, so I just want to show you a few things about it. One of the very first things to do is if I wanted to make that game board format that I have sometimes, I highlight those cells and essentially I'm going to ask them to be merged. And so I come back up here to Table and I find Merge Cells, and now I have this cell. It's blank and it'll end up looking like a game board after I attach everything else that I want to in it. Next thing I'm going to do, come up here, I'm going to say File, and I'm going to do a little bit of page setup here. This is where you can get portrait or landscape. I'll choose landscape today just for fun. I'm also going to go to page color here, and then I'm going to set this page color to a dark blue. And now I have a background to my page. Ooh, that's a little dark though, isn't it? But I can do some other things over here. I can come over here and take my border color to something's different, maybe not something nice and contrasting, maybe this yellow. And you can see now I have this yellow frame here to work with. So I can do lots of different manipulations through here through using some of the tools that I have here. Can always keep coming back up here to border color. Do I want more yellow? Maybe a little orange here. Do the same thing, a little orange over here. So that's where I have those different options from. Now you can see I start to build something that looks just a little different. And from here I want to do something a little bit different. I want to make this look like a title bar, so I'm going to go back up here again and merge this section of my cells. So just have a plan in mind about where you want to look, where you want this to start from. I don't like this fill color so much, it's too dark, so I'm going to make this, oh, I like this lighter blue. So now you can see where I can start to get my colors, lines, and blended images. I also maybe think, as I'm in this box playing around, I really want this line to be a little thicker so it really stands out as a border, so I'm just going to push 4.5, and now you see I have a big wide box. And again, I'm going to call this HyperDock Practice. One thing I always like to have in mind when I start my HyperDock is what kind of font do I want to use, what's my purpose. My favorite font this day seems to be this, Cherry Cream Soda. So I'm going to make sure that my whole dock ends up in this. It's kind of nothing worse than creating a dock. Whoops, I didn't really want to move that, so I'm going to hit my undo button, take it back to where it was. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everything that I'm doing in this HyperDock ends up in this Cherry Cream Soda font. So I'm going to come back up to here, find my font, and just make sure everything's in this font. Now everything else will be as before. I'm going to add and insert a picture here, so I'm going to say Insert Image. As I look at this image, again, I'm going to search the internet. So I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to say donuts. And then I really want a clip art donut, so I don't want all these real pictures of a donut, more of a clip art style, so clip art here. Ooh, these all look delicious. Apologize for the bird singing in the background, but he's pretty happy there. And oh my, the donut picture is way too big, so I'm just going to grab it, keep it sized in the image that I want by just doing that. Okay. As long as I grab in the corner and grab it over, it'll do what I want. This is not really where I want it, so I'm going to cut it, put my cursor where I want it, and tape it back in there. One thing you might have realized that you can't do or can't do, if you know, great. So I want to take this donut and let's say I want to insert a link on top of it. That way my picture takes me somewhere. What I'm going to do is just insert a link on top of this image, so I have the blue boxes all the way around. I'm going to say Insert up here, and I'm going to say Link. And I grabbed this link, How to Make Delicious Donuts. So I'm going to paste that in there and say apply. So that's how you can turn your graphic link into a link as well. Now I would give somebody a clue here that I have done that, like click on image for the recipe. That way people know if they click on that donut, they're going to get this donut recipe. So for your assignment this week, this is taking docs, inserting a table, and making links with images. You can do that this week, or you can take a doc that you found that you still are playing with and use it that week. But that'll be your assignment for this week, just to play in docs. Next week we'll go on and start to do some of this work in slides and in maps, so you can see some different ways just besides docs that you can use this. Have a great week, everybody.